Well, g'day there, insiders. Here we are again back in Patpong. Specifically today, we're in the Patpong Museum. And as you have a look around here, we've got a bit of the scenery. And this is our lovely gentleman that owns the place. Name again was?
Michael.
Michael, right? And we met Chris last week, right? G'day, Chris. He's the Bangkok, I said XXX Bangkok bar owner or manager, yeah, where we did people know the videos, all right. So, good to see you then.
Good to see you and welcome to the Patpong Museum, gentlemen, please.
Okay, so what's going to happen today, we're going to give you a bit of a exclusive tour and ask a few like cutting edge questions. Now I've done this video before, we did it in a tour, this time we're doing it outside the tour, a little bit more of an inside story. I love the story of Jack, the CIA guy.
Tony Poe.
Tony Poe, yeah.
Tony Poe, and Jack Shirley, his boss.
Yeah, Jack Shirley.
What you will get today on top of a tour with me, which is not the standard tour guide tour. Maybe I know less about each individual detail, but I can give you some background. Mm-hmm. But what you also get today is a bit of a preview
of what's coming up.
Because we are preparing two entire new sections in the exhibition.
Yes, I've heard about that.
For the reopening on December 1st.
Oh, so I was actually thought we were opening this week. No, it's actually December.
We can open already since 1st of October.
Right.
But we chose to remain closed and to build out something new and exciting, making it.
So this is a bit of an exclusive for us and everybody here on the channel as well.
Absolutely.
Now, of course, we've just got to wait for the other two guys to get their cameras set up. I'm just going to do this continuous so that we can get a single audio track from these guys. So Mike's got his microphone, I got my microphone on. You also know Niall, he's just setting himself up there. You look a bit hot there, buddy. And Chris, he's our IT engineer.
Good to see you, man.
And of course, Paul, we know Paul from that infamous website, gogohopping.com. Anyway, so wait for these guys to get set up and we'll get going. That's a nice t-shirt.
The artist is actually here.
Oh, okay.
She's sitting at the bar.
Oh, she's sitting at the bar.
Yeah, so what we do in the museum is we reach out to the local community. So there's girls, women that work here in bars, boys as well. And outside of their normal everyday job, whatever it may be, we do creative things, we do workshops with them, they create products for the shop.
Right, yeah, good stuff. Okay, so we've got Niall, he's got his camera, he's got his light. I just got to watch out that we don't, like it is YouTube, you know what they're like. Got to watch that we cover up the naughty bits.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think should be all right.
Yeah, there was a couple, I think in the bar area, there's a couple of, risque photos from last time I was here.
Yes. So maybe we start here.
Yeah.
Despite pretty difficult circumstances due to COVID after the opening, right? We opened in October 2019, and then 5 months later, the world changed.
That's right, yes.
We managed pretty well. We reopened last year. We reached out to the local audience. And we made it to TripAdvisor's Traveler's Choice 2021, top 10% worldwide attractions. And we did win 3 weeks ago the Museum Thailand Award 2021.
Cool. Oh, the place is falling apart, no?
Please, come inside.
That's right. Just got to try to make sure that we don't run into the other cameras. Most of this is looking the same as what I remember from last time I was here.
So this section here is basically the beginning of Patpong, explaining the historical context. Where do the Patpong panels come from? How did the street get its name? How come it involves the largest industrial conglomerate of Thailand? How come it involves the King of Thailand? And what a type of person this Luang Patpong Panit actually was, and that he educated his children abroad and the implications that brings with it in terms of the relationship to the CIA. The concept of the museum is to tell the history of Southeast Asia, 20th century, through the perspective of Patpong Road. And whoever kind of thinks, oh, that's a bit far-fetched, I think the museum proves that, yeah, it's possible. We can actually track all major events of 20th century relevant to Thailand, to Bangkok, to Southeast Asia, China, the US, here.
It's all linked.
It is all linked.
It's all linked.
And the further we work and the more we get donations and people drop off letters and we do more research, the more amazing links and nodes appear. It's really amazing.
Exactly, yes.
So in the first section we cover the beginning of Patpong from a historical point of view, China and how it all started. Here we explain and we tell the story how Patpong actually became the central business district of Bangkok right in 1950, right after the war. This here was the Wall Street of Bangkok, the most modern infrastructure the country provided. So,
Would I be right in saying last video I did here last week, I said this is really what they classify the CBD of Bangkok. What do you call it? The
Central Business District, CBD,
Yeah.
Right. So here, for example, in this building where we stand right now, this was the IBM building.
Oh, okay.
Big Blue was here and their first supercomputers were here. All major airlines are here. Major news and press agencies like UPI, Associated Press, they were all here. And why? Because the infrastructure here just provided the necessities they needed. They needed access to telegraph cables, direct access to international phone lines, so all that was given here. Unique in Bangkok, nowhere else. Hiding behind this is the CIA and other Western intelligence services that are kind of preparing to fortify Thailand for the Cold War.
That's right.
And then to operate from here parts of the hot war, the secret parts of the hot war in Vietnam, actually more Laos and Cambodia.
This was the respite. That was all happening across the border, and this is where it all sort of coagulated.
Right. And a secret war is a war without rules. Many things become possible for those that are in charge. And it gives kind of like a platform and space for very colorful characters. The famous one, Tony Po, through which we tell the story of the Vietnam War, actually.
You guys, any questions? No? Let's move along.
If you want, we can maybe do a little Q&A stop at the bar.
Yeah. Air America. That was a good Mel Gibson movie.
Absolutely, absolutely. A great movie and a crazy airline.
I don't know how true it was.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I know the backstory is true, but how well did they depict the? It was a full film, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, that is true. These are new pieces of exhibit that we added to the collection. Very interesting Thai propaganda posters. This one is kind of like Thailand cannot retreat one step further. And we already see the projection also, the army as the defender of the people. This one, a very like curiosity piece. This is for Thai military and government officers to warn them from like keep your mouth shut. Mm-hmm. So women and gambling are going to entice you to reveal your secrets of war. Yes. This entire section, as I mentioned, you are like seeing a preview. So here we're going into more depth of the Vietnam War through the perspective of the apocalypse now. So yeah, so here we're basically designing the whole Vietnam War section new, focusing a lot on Tony Po and how he inspired Apocalypse Now. The character of Colonel Kurtz is really modeled right after him, even though the producers of the movie kind of play with it. No, it's not. But so this is going to be happening here. And then something very exciting here is Charles Sobrage, the Serpent.
Okay, I'm actually watching that video right now. Yeah, the series right now.
Then even in the series, it is featured that the scene where they go to the go-go bars.
Yep.
So that's in Patpong. That's actually the Mississippi Queen. Yesterday, Thai PBS just broadcasted a 30-minute piece they produced where they really dig deep, and they reached out to me, and then I reached out to actually someone who spent time with Charles Sobrage in Patpong in a Mississippi Queen bar on several occasions in the 70s, and they walked home together because they lived right next to each other in Saladang. So here we focus on Sobrage, the Serpent, and the murders that are considered to be the Bikini Killer murders, the 5 victims that got killed in Thailand, and what all of that has to do with Patpong. So bringing really the connects here. One of the victims was taken to Patpong the night before she got murdered in Chonburi, and he was a frequent visitor, the Mississippi Queen, and so forth. So there's a lot of context.
And of course, this little setup here, this is the model of the Patpong.
Yes. So here, what we're adding here into this model is many QR codes. I think here we are already completed.
Yep.
And each QR code represents a full virtual reality scan, so that our visitors will be able to just take their smartphone, they're here logged into our Wi-Fi, then they scan the QR code, and they will actually see the inside, and they can navigate on the inside by themselves.
In a 3D environment.
In a 3D
with
environment.
Avatars and...
Yes, it is, at this moment in time, it is a still, but a 3D through which you can navigate. And we have several assets embedded in it further. And we plan to expand this throughout the whole model here.
Yeah. Sounds good.
This here is our Wall of Fame, which is an augmented reality piece where you basically scan the silhouette that you think you know who it is to check if your knowledge is correct.
I'm going to cheat because I know this first one is David Bowie.
This would be Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then you see also the movie that they filmed here and the entrance sequence after this Klong ride is already Patpong.
Right, yeah.
You mentioned David Bowie, I guess that's him. So David Bowie filmed an entire music clip, the Ricochet, here in Patpong in the Superstar Go-Go Bar. Then we have Christopher Walken, Robert De Niro.
No, I can't remember it all.
I'm not gonna destroy the fun.
That's it. That's fun for you. Fun for the viewers when they get here.
Spoiler alert.
Exactly.
Spoiler alert. That's it. That's what they call it. Spoiler alert.
What we will do as well is a whole wall on Patpong and the weed, which involves a lot of Australian people in the 70s and 80s, surfers, that actually developed the Superstar Bar in Patpong into one of the top 10 places on the global marijuana trade map. It all ended with the seizure of the Encounter Bay ship off the coast of Washington, west coast of the US, with 72 tons of
Cannabis.
weed
Yeah.
on board.
When was that?
That is 1988.
88.
That was the end of it.
Yeah.
And it started in the 70s. So they
Yeah, I remember back in the early 80s, we got some of the best Thai sticks in Australia. It was absolutely magic stuff.
that's what it got. So yeah, this is the new portion that is under development now. So we are rebuilding the original shopfront of the Mississippi Queen Bar. where the deer hunter was filmed.
Oh, okay, yes.
We're
Yes.
showing the deer hunter, just the sequence, the 45 seconds of In the Mississippi Queen. Assistant to the producer of the deer hunter in Thailand is consulting us here on putting actually the whole thing together. It's very nice.
Good, good.
So then here comes the French connection, highlighting the French connection in Patpong. It's a town in town, right? We had the Australians around the superstar, the British, we had the French. The French are going to be here. On this wall comes a bit Patpong, the godfather, the person who introduced me to Patpong and who enabled me actually to start doing my business here. This bar is kind of inspired by the Grand Prix bar, which was the first go-go bar in Patpong in 1967. Founded by Rick Menard, an American, a soldier in the Vietnam War who did not want to return to Vietnam and who opened a real sports bar, Grand Prix bar. Very famous for broadcasting the races, Formula One, boxing matches, all kinds of things. And it is him who couldn't get an entertainment license. And an entertainment license was required in Thailand back at the time for dancing and music. So music was considered to be a band playing and dancing was a man and a woman dancing together. So what he did is he put in a jukebox and he put in a box, a wooden crate, and put the woman on the crate so she couldn't dance with the man, logically. The police came in and they were like, oh, you got no license, this doesn't work. And he was like, oh, there is no band playing and there's no dance. She's standing on this crate here. And they really couldn't get him on that. So the go-go bar was born. Put women on a crate on a stage, separate them from the men, and you don't need the entertainment license.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that still standing today, or has it changed?
It's quite different today.
It is quite different today.
That's how it started and developed from the early 70s, then over into the 80s and 90s. Today it's different with zoning laws and all kinds of things. So what we do here is, this is like a replica bar. It's not a real bar. We just have this bar here for special events. If somebody wants to have a party in the museum, we're going to start to have a new format like Night at the Museum, once a week, doing a bit of activities. Before we go from here to the XXX section, where you may have to blur some of your the content that you film, so what we do up until here is we give a fun and entertaining and interactive tour through the history, basically, from the very beginning until the 70s, 80s, when Patpong really becomes a red light district. And as it became a red light district and was until COVID, we have to show that as well as a Patpong Museum. Many of the visitors expect, like, Patpong Museum, oh, it's going to be a sex museum. But it's actually quite the other way around.
No, totally
you get to
not,
see
yeah.
all of this up until here. And then on the last large section, we dive into what it's also famous for. So you get to see an idea of what is a ping pong show. So many tourists come to me and say, oh, I want to see a ping pong show, I want to see a ping pong show. And I'm like, no, you don't. Oh, yes, we do. And then we tell them where to go and make sure that maybe they don't get robbed there. And afterwards, they're like complaining, no, this was horrible. And I was like, I told you, you wanted to go. So I really wanted to do the ping pong show here. So they are informed. And if they then still want to see it or in live, okay, go ahead. I think we found a good way to do that, decent, also for female visitors. It's all right.
It's very tactfully done. We'll see it in a minute. Yeah.
I think so. And we have a fetish club in Patpong that is also honored here. One of the flagship stores in Patpong, the Black Pagoda, is featured, various go-go bars. Yeah, just what it's famous for. If you have any question, I think this here may be a good one.
These, you normally can't shut these guys up.
Yeah? Yeah? Are you good? Okay.
Good, good.
Then, so here, these are kind of things people can read, can play with. We try to mix the digital interactive content with physical things. I didn't show you before, you can lift rice bags here. You can do all kinds of things. Oh, by the way, and this is the lady who painted the T-shirt that you were
there
looking
she
at,
is.
at the
Very good, very
entrance.
good.
So here, maybe on this side, we mix modern art, contemporary art by a French artist who owns one of the largest Thai porn magazine collections from the 70s and 80s. And he uses them to compile them into modern interpretations. So this is called Censored, and it shows the self-censorship of the porn magazines in the 70s, where they were kind of how it was done. He did a book on the Strip, a go-go bar, and then these are photographies from the Strip by a famous Austrian director, movie director, who came to Patpong to film a movie. He unfortunately passed away already, a good friend of myself and Chris. Here we get right into the go-go bar. Shall we show it? No.
Well,
They should
well, it's
come
all right.
and
This is
see it.
silhouetted, so
Yeah,
that's quite...
they should come and see it. No, in
No,
terms of,
don't run it. They're going to see this
exactly.
thing here.
I'm not going to open the machine out. What you can do here is you can come and catch ping pong balls, and if you collect 10, then you can turn them into a prize at the shop.
Use your imagination.
Exactly. Very popular spot for men and women. They all like to be here and take their Instagram and whatever pictures and post it on social media, which helps us, of course. So in the museum, we have generally a photography is allowed policy.
No, I'm likely to kill myself on one of those things, really, seriously.
Oh yeah, we had people here trying to kill themselves on this.
Are you okay to be on camera, Chris? No.
You're not going to get on that thing? Come on, I'll give you 10 baht.
No, that's fine. That's totally. I was just up. If it can carry me, don't worry.
Let's see your style, mate. Come on.
Here in this section, then we go over into the third gender, ladyboys, transsexuals.
We won't flip them. We'll just leave them there for them. That's part of the tour.
Yeah, no spoiler here.
No
it's
spoilers.
Like, this is, you have to be able to guess and show if you can be fooled or not.
Warren actually has a ladyboy partner, so he's
Yeah, so we've been together 13 years, so there you go.
good at it, I imagine.
Oh, I'm going to have to blur that one out.
Here we kind of come to the end of the X-rated section already with a collaboration project with an Italian artist, photographer. This is a big piece from one of the top talents here in Thailand, top acclaimed artist Tawan Watuya from the younger generation. It will be on exhibition for Gallery Nights 2021, and that's why it's packed and wrapped. And here we have more. So this we come into the contemporary art section, which is also undergoing a bit of redesign.
And this is basically where we were sitting down before you got here.
Exactly. So as the whole thing is designed like as a cycle, here in the modern art section, these walls are complete. This was a project with political artist Ted Extensil that I invited to come to Patpong and do something not day politics, but something on social problems that we experience here. So the exhibition was called Sex, Drugs and Head Extensile. And this wall is dedicated to Tawan Watuya, who did an amazing exhibition, Paradise Go-Go Bar, last year, 29th February. At the core, at the center, were portraits of sex workers that were done here from October 2019 until January. We did these minute portraits. And it was amazing to see how these people that have usually a very low self-esteem started to feel when they get portrayed, and then they understand that the person's famous, and then the whole portrait comes back and is in a golden frame, and then the largest weekly magazine of Thailand, the Matishon, comes and gives them a double page. And then the exhibition is opened, and then there's 150 people, and them, because we invited them as well. So this was an amazing activity. And in that kind of way, we will develop now the contemporary space further until reopening 1st of December. And now we come already back to the entrance. And here is going to be our bar and coffee shop. We'll have a few Patpong specific cocktails. We plan to issue for every ticket also a little voucher for the shop and for the bar here, so that people can also enjoy the whole thing with a little bit of a refreshment and sit down and talk.
And it's not expensive. I think it was 200 baht, was it, for the entry?
The entry fee, the standard fee is 350 baht.
350 baht, yes. But
And
I think you got a drink with that as well, didn't you? Yeah.
So we will continue that, but on a voucher basis, because some people, they don't like to drink, they would like to buy something in the shop.
Yep.
We just give out the voucher as part of the ticket price. We're going to have a couple of promotions, as I mentioned, night at the museum, and so forth.
Yeah.
Lots of
Well,
things
for just a little bit of a $10 US, I think it's definitely sort of something that if you're coming into,
I think so.
If you're coming into Bangkok, this place here is definitely going to put it on. There'll be a pin down below in my description box. These guys will probably have on their videos as well. But definitely sort of put your name down. Come on and check it out. December 1?
December 1. Very welcome, yes, absolutely.
Well, it's been great talking to you.
Thank you very much for
giving us a
coming.
bit of a special tour.
Thank you. I hope you liked it.
And anything else you guys got? Anything you want? No? Not right now?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Did you want? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was a really informative.
Yeah, thank you. I hope.
I want you to live